Saints being led out today by the matchday mascot, a lady matchday mascot today, Sarah Williams. She's 7 years old. She attends Carmel Junior School. She's just come out with Captain Phil Beavers. She's out there centre field. She'll have to start doing a few limbering up movements when it's really cold out there for her. But her favourite player is Paul Loughlin. She was having a photo taken with him before, and Paul's back after missing the midweek replay against Dewsbury. But Sarah's out there centre field as the Saints are now just limbering up, getting ready. About half a dozen players with injury problems come out onto the pitch, limbering up early on, but everything's okay. Well, we're hoping it's okay, aren't we? A rather breezy day, as I said. I'll just go through the Saints team now. Number 1, Connolly. 2, Tanner. 3, Kay. 4, Loughlin. 5, Hunt. 6, Tommy Frodsham, back after 4 games through injury. Mark Bailey takes over at 7 with the injury to Neil Holding and Jonathan Griffiths. 8, David Cosgrove. 9, Paul Groves. 10, Andy Bateman. 11, Paul Farber. 12, Roy Haggerty. 13, Phil Beavers and captain, with 14, Les Quirk, and 15, John Harrison. The Oldham team out there just having a run round, still with the tracksuit tops on. Their team this afternoon: number 1, Platt. 2, McAllister. 3, Russell. 4, Irving. 5, Lord. 6, Clark. 7, Ford. 8, Neil Clawson. 9, Andy Ruane. 10, John Furbank. 11, Newton. 12, Croston. 13, and captain Cogger, John Cogger that is, with substitutes 14, ex-Saint Kevin Meadows, and number 15, Keith Atkinson. So it's a battle of the Barra boys today, with Saints maestro Alex Murphy unfortunately down with the flu bug, and Frankie Barra's in charge, and his brother Tony in charge of the Oldham side. It's the 3rd round tie, and Saints here by virtue of a midweek replay against Dewsbury at Wakefield. They was very lucky here last Sunday against Dewsbury in the 2nd round to come away with a draw. But they tidied up midweek and beat Dewsbury by 14 points to 0. 3 tries, just 1 goal to David Tanner. Difficult conditions, very muddy conditions, but we're out here today, Nosey Road. There we are, centre field. John Cogger, captain for Oldham. Phil Beavers, captain for Saints. Today's matchday mascot, Sarah Williams. She's out there with the matchday official, and the referee for today is Mr. Robin Whitfield. Fine pitch. Listening to Radio Manchester this morning, they said people was ringing up to see if the match was on. I shouldn't imagine any problem here. Not it's only usually severe frost or ice that the match is off here. Superb pitch out there, a credit to the groundsman and his staff. A real blustery wind, and by the looks of it, Oldham are going to be playing with the wind this first half, playing down to the sponsors' boxes, the clubhouse end, the restaurant end here at Nosey Road. Saints to kick off. A tremendous tie we've got in prospect this afternoon. Saints looking to extend their unbeaten matches to 12. It was Oldham that inflicted the last defeat on the Saints. That was the 27th of September in the 2nd round of the Lancashire Cup. And it was a defeat as well, wasn't it? 36 points to 6. But Loughlin kicks off. On to Charlie McAllister, this big New Zealander. He's playing out on the wing. Rather a surprise selection on the wing. I believe he's been having rave performances in the centre. But he's on the wing, and an out-and-out winger there, Richard Irving, is in the centre. But Tony Barra's the man in charge. Here's the use of the wind now. Duncan Platt, the ball going down to him. Coming crossfield. Gary Connolly takes it. Comes crossfield. Rounds Mike Ford. But John Cogger comes in. Paul Loughlin with those shorts on the under his, those like leg warmers to protect the hamstring and the groin. Very doubtful start to this afternoon. Possibly a surprise selection to some of the people we've been talking to. But he must have been considered fit. He's out there. As I said, he missed the midweek game, but picked up a little injury against Dewsbury last Sunday here at Nosey Road. Solid tackling on Andy Bateman. Groves, chip and run. It's against the wind, and Groves, watch him go. He hacks on. Well, he's got tripped there. That was a trip. And I mean, whether he's going to send him off or not, a trip in is an offence, yes. He sent him off for a trip, and that's rightly so. The man stuck his foot out as Groves was going through, and under this new directive there's no other place for him. He's got to go off the field. Duncan Platt, I think it is. Well, an early sensation here at Nosey Road. Just a minute and a half gone, and Duncan Platt takes the long walk. 75 yards to the tunnel and then down the tunnel. He'll take no further part in this afternoon's game. Was a blatant trip, that there's no danger about it. And if you watch yesterday, well, the Pie Eaters, they just managed to hang on to a 10-all draw, and Amson, he was sent off after 5 minutes for the third time this season. Let's hope when the judging him there at Chapeltown Road, the disciplinary committee, that they take his past record into consideration, because this is a tester. It's the first time a Pie Eater's been sent off since this new ruling, this hard ruling. It's going to be 8 matches at least, and I would imagine now with Hampson and his past record, he should get at least 10 matches, shouldn't he? But Loughlin, no problem with the penalty conversion, bangs it over straight between the sticks, and Saints are 2 points to nil in the lead. Oldham kick off, the ball to Paul Loughlin. He brings it up to the 25. Second row forward, Keith Newton brings in Farber now. He's been trouble with a niggly trapped nerve. Roy Haggerty, Saints will have to run hard. Paul Groves backing Roy Haggerty up there, he couldn't release it, Haggerty. Andy Bateman. Well, Oldham, they're certainly going in rather ferociously there. Neil Clausen coming in, completing the tackle on Bateman. But it's Oldham down to 12 men. Beavers, good dummy from Beavers. Super tackle by Cogger though. Saints play it quickly, on to Tommy Frodsham. Out to Tony Kay on the right wing. Good lad this Kay, showed some blistering pace. Couldn't get away this time, but they're in the Oldham half now. Lofted ball, onto Mark Bailey. Crossfield kick, Hunt's following it up. But it's second row forward, Trevor Croston. But Hunt's penalised. Referee Whitfield judging that Alan Hunt was offside. Not give Croston 5 yards. Oldham are awarded the penalty midway between their own 25 and the halfway line. Charlie McAllister kicking for touch. Decent kick with the aid of a stiff breeze, finds touch just short of the Saints 25. It's going to be Andy Ruane to restart to play. Clausen, first man in. Solid tackling, well, lifts him up and forced the man back. The ball's loose. Looking to the touch judge, but no joy. It was Cosgrove and Bateman, both props in there very quickly. John Furbank, one of a number of rugby playing brothers of the Furbank there. Forward along the line, Brett Clark on to Irving. Just a hint of obstruction there, but play allowed to go on. Solid tackling from the Saints, they've got to stick to it, but the ball's released. The man loses his footing. It's just inside the Saints 25. Charlie McAllister, he's a big lad, scampering away from acting half-back. He releases the ball. It touches Brett Clark. I think it's going to be a knock-on. The original knock-on ruled. Yes, just touching Brett Clark's fingers and going down. So a scrum down, the first scrum of the match. Just inside the Saints 25, perhaps about 15 yards from the Saints try line. It's going to be Mark Bailey to feed. Oldham penalised for not packing correctly at the scrum. Well, packing with a loose arm, I think, is the indication. Yes, loose arm indicated by referee Whitfield before the scrum was actually formed. So Andy Ruane being penalised there, and Loughlin finds touch just outside the 25-yard line. Groves to Farber. Solid forward, this Farber. Oldham also with injury problems, quite a few players injured in their pack, with Sean Allen out and Leo Casey suspended, John Furbank with a nasty knee injury. Well, they just had Andy Ruane and this Keith Newton back after injury. Just couldn't think of his name then. But it's still in possession. Beavers brought down there. Tommy Frodsham takes up the running. Short ball to Haggerty, looking for support. Well, the ball was going to go to Mark Bailey, but it hit an Oldham man. Was he in an offside position? Well, I don't know what indication referee Whitfield is giving. But Oldham, they want to make an early substitution. Kevin Meadows is going to come on to replace Trevor Croston. Saints have been awarded the penalty, whatever it's for, and Oldham made the substitution now. So another blow for Oldham. Croston must have taken a knock and replaced by Kevin Meadows. Ex-Saints, he's a flying wingman, so a bit of a reshuffle. Perhaps they'll put McAllister in the pack now, I don't know. Forward, Haggerty. Plan move from Saints there. Quite a decent crowd assembled here. A rather blustery and cold day. Groves brings the ball back inside. Bateman taking up the running. Brought down on the 25, centre field. Groves to the right, onto Phil Beavers. Awkward ball to take that, but Beavers takes a three-man Oldham tackle and he has the ball taken from him. Brett Clark, it is on the far side. Phil Beavers comes up, he lends an extra pound into the tackle there. But it's Oldham now in possession. Just on their own 25-yard line. Ruane brings it to his right. Solid tackling, the Saints move in, and they'll have to move in numbers. Plenty, they'll have to take the legs, and then men round the top. McAllister there, I think he's dropped back to the full-back position. Well, David Tanner, he takes it well. The Oldham crowd cry for a knock-on, but there was no knock-on there. He was facing his own line. He did well to take it, an awkward ball swirling in this wind. Rather chilly round the nether regions today up on this podium here. But it's Tony Kay, shrugs one tackle off, but just loses his footing. Groves brings it onto Bateman, running at speed, and we'll have to run hard. Groves, Mark Bailey, Tommy Frodsham, to Lockers, back to Mark Bailey, comes in field. Oh, Ruane there gets him round the neck, and Cogger there. Look at him go in. Temper's getting a little frayed, and referee Whitfield, he's saying it was round the jersey. Well, I don't know about that, but it's certainly a penalty to the Saints. Ruane round the neck there, and then Cogger coming in rather aggressively, but Saints are awarded a penalty. Well, already, and we've only had 10 minutes of this match. There's more excitement in this match than the whole of the 80 minutes against Dewsbury last Sunday. Groves at dummy half, Saints 20 yards from the Oldham line. Phil Beavers in the line there. Makes a few yards there. Groves picks it up. Out to Roy Haggerty. He'll run out to Haggerty. He's bursting through, driving for the line, looking for support. Has to take the tackle. Mark Bailey at dummy half. Saints have got to get points on the board here now. Frodsham chips through. Yes! Frodham's in! A superb individual try from Frodsham! Well, just as I was saying, Saints would have to make it count. They did. Frodsham goes over for his 6th try of the season. A little chip through. He followed it up. He was able to take the ball, but his impetus took him over just about 5 yards to the left of the upright. So Saints extend the lead now, 6 points to 0, and no problem for Lockers here. He should bang this over, backheel this one over. Powers it it over there from short range. His second goal of the afternoon. He's 87th of the season, the Rugby League's leading goal scorer, and extend the Saints' lead to 8-0. Certainly playing well, looking hungry, and just let's hope that Oldham pay the cost this afternoon. McAllister there, centre field to kick off. They're down to 12 men with that sending off of Duncan Platt for a blatant trip after a minute and a half of play. So it's an uphill battle. Well taken there by Paul Loughlin. Awkward bouncing ball in a stiff breeze, but Loughlin in the clear. Oh, nearly in the clear, just taken by his ankles. He's taking a knock in the tattle, but it's Farber taking up the running. Farber plays it to himself, no marker. Gains a valuable 10-15 yards, just brought down short of the halfway line. Groves brings it to his left. Mark Bailey along the line, Tommy Frodsham. On to Roy Haggerty into space. Superb ball from Superb ball from Frodsham. I thought the ball was coming left. Haggerty had to take the tackle. Tony Kay now. Let's see what this lad can do. Sixth and final tackle signified by referee Whitfield. Bailey, Grubbers for touch. Is it going to run? Oh, just keep it in field, is it? The winger on the far side just manages to keep it in field. Infringement at the play of the ball, and Oldham are awarded a penalty. Well, as long as he keeps awarding them in their own 25, we'll not grumble, will we? It's when we get awarded against them in our own 25, then we've time to worry. Well, the third round of the Regal Trophy in 1988, the 88-89 season when Saints won the trophy, which was the John Player Trophy then. We played Oldham in the semi-final. We beat them 18-8 and then went on to beat Leeds 15-14 in the final. The ball back to Mike Ford, Grubbers for touch. David Tanner's going to take it, takes it well. Tanner coming crossfield, straightening up. Well, high tackle there. Number 11, Keith Newton this time. It didn't do any damage, but it was still high. Frodsham, superb ball to Vivers, onto Loughlin, into Hunt. Watch Hunt go up this wing. Oh, what a handoff! What a superb handoff from Alan Hunt. That was a pearler, wasn't it? Handed Mike Ford off as if he was a little lad. Pushed him to one side and touchdown. 15 yards in from this touchline here on the popular side. A superb try from the Saints. Standing ovation for the Saints round this ground. But a superb team try there, engineered by Tommy Frodsham. On to Beavers, then to Loughlin, and a perfectly timed pass to Alan Hunt. He heard up the wing, he just brushed Mike Ford off as if he wasn't there, just pushed him to one side and came infield and touchdown as 10-15 yards infield from this popular side stand. Alan Hunt, it's his 14th try of the season. He's the Saints' leading try scorer. And he's certainly coming on from strength to strength. He's only about 18, this lad, and what a hell of a future in front of him. Loughlin now, already kicked two. No, it just goes to the right. Unfortunately there, but it's 12-0 in the Saints' favour. So Saints strike there. A tremendous performance. A good move as engineered by Tommy Frodsham. A full 50-yard movement involving about 4 or 5 players. Gives the Saints a 12-point cushion. Saints in this third round by virtue of beating Hull KR here by 40 points to 26. Then Dewsbury last Sunday, a 12-all draw. We had to replay at Wakefield 14-0. That's with we won 14-0, I should say, with Dewsbury not having any floodlights. Oldham, they came through beating Bramley away by 48 points to 16. And then last week they had Huddersfield at home and they beat them by 22 points to 8. performance midweek with slippy conditions, but Dewsbury never looked in the hunt. Saints with 3 tries from Griffiths, Quirk and Connolly, 1 converted by David Tanner. We also went over for another try, but he was alleged held on his back. But Saints was always in command on Wednesday. They're in command this afternoon. They're leading by 12 points to 0. Paul Farber. Saints on the break again. Bailey. Andy Bateman. Noticeable absentee, George Mann this afternoon. He hurt his ankle. He went over on his ankle after about 10 minutes at Wakefield the other night. He did well. He played the whole match. But obviously he's damaged it. And he can't play this afternoon. Also injured was Thierry Patty. They're making his debut for the Saints. He just lasted 21 minutes. He has had a history of niggly knee problems. Mike Ford moving up offside there. Vivers noticed it. He had to turn the ball back the other way. 6th and final tackle now for the Saints. Groves. Oh, well taken by Loughlin. Hunt in support. It's the 6th tackle this, you know. Hunt kicks it through. Connolly was on his inside. Perhaps he should have given it Connolly. We don't know. We'll never know, will we? But that was the 6th tackle. He did well. It's going to be a changeover because the ball going directly into touch from that Hunt kick. But the idea was right and Saints play it hard. Oldham in possession from the changeover. Struggling for half-back combination today, the Saints, with the injury to Griffiths and Neil Holding. Obviously a planned move there from Oldham. It's a good idea. Wingman there coming through on the far side was Paul Lord. Little chip kick through with the aid of the breeze. He couldn't take it cleanly. He was first man to the ball. But it's going to be a scrum down just inside the Oldham half. Saints feed, Mark Bailey to feed. Saints just tidying up on the scrums. This is only the 2nd scrum of the match. Penalised at the first one, I think, weren't they? So Saints come up with the first clean heel, I think. Frodsham beats it inside. Paul Farber coming through at pace, running really hard. 19 minutes of the game gone. Saints 12 points to 0 in the lead. Got to get more points on the board. Remember, OKR, they managed a 12-point gap against the Saints here. But Saints came back, beat them out of sight by 40 points to 26 in the end. But you can't afford to give Oldham any leeway at all. Haggerty with the ball. Midfield, solid tackle. He's taken down midway between the halfway line and the Oldham 25. Bailey has to take the tackle. He stuck hold of the ball there. It's the 6th and final one now. Vivers, Grubbers for touch. Yes, he's going to find touch. The scrum. Solid tackle from the Saints. They have to contain them in their own 25. They have got the aid of a rather swirling breeze. Mike Ford comes through, but Gary Connolly brings him to ground. Super tackle from Connolly. Farber comes in and completes the tackle. Cogger now taking up the running. But Oldham managed to keep the ball going. Richard Irving breaking through, looking for support. Well, they've done well, Oldham. They've come a full 50-60 yards upfield. Mike Ford, little chip kick. Meadows is offside. He's a mile offside, he's Meadows. But Connolly there does well, comes round from behind his own in-goal area. But Ford kicked through there. Meadows was a mile offside. But Connolly did well. He ran out of his own in-goal area and Saints are in possession. Bailey along the line, Haggerty. David Tanner is acting half-back. Saints going to move it infield. Mark Bailey coming through there, created a gap, but it's Saints on the charge again. Farber, inside ball to Loughlin, on the opposite diagonal, back to Vivers, unlucky. Groves kicks it on, it went to Tommy Frodsham. The referee has allowed play on. Tommy Frodsham must have just touched Tommy Frodsham's fingers. I thought it would come back as Groves hacked it on, but the referee was going to blow up for a knock-on, but he allowed advantage. And Oldham coming through, it's the left winger, Paul Lord. Good run from this lad. Finally brought down, certainly come through there onto a short ball. Puts Oldham back on the attack. Forward at dummy half. Well, say it's offside in their own 25. Ruane picks the ball up. Oldham are going to run it, are they? Yeah, Ruane, he just gains about a further 2 or 3 yards. The ball comes back 10 yards in field. Ruane now. And Oldham on the charge. Loose forward. Is it young Cogger on the far side? Taking up the running, but there's forward, there's Cogger, centre field. Wily campaigner, came from Runcorn. Oldham snapped him up. But it's Oldham putting the pressure on now, trailing by 12 points to 0. Forward, inside ball to Clausen. Just held up, about 2 or 3 feet short, that's all. Forward again, short ball there, well. Frodsham, he needs support. Hunt has to take it up. Unlucky there, Tommy Frodsham, there's no way he could have run all that way. He's got an injured knee, but Hunt came up with him. Saints are back in charge. Forward pass being ruled. Well, I don't know about that, but referee Whitfield has ruled a forward pass. Oldham in possession, Saints came up with it. Frodsham, he couldn't outpace the Oldham defence. Hunt was with him, but it's Oldham win the ball from the scrum. Charlie McAllister. The ball onto Meadows, he's down, I think he's hurt Meadows. That's before Roy Haggerty completed the tackle. Oh, he gets up anyway. It's Oldham still on the charge. It's Neil Clausen. Ruane onto Ford, onto Brett Clark. Another ex-Saint, Brett Clark. But it's onto Keith Newton, he flicks it up. But if Saint's got the ball, has it been knocked on? An infringement anyway at the place where the ball was stopped. It's going to be a scrum down. Mark Bailey, is it? Well, Oldham have the ball in their hand. It's going to be the Mike Ford, the scrum half for Oldham. He comes up with possession. Solid tackle from Connolly. No messing in with the shoulder on Brett Clark there and brings him right down. Mike Ford. Not going to let Connolly in again. You're not going to allow these half-backs any room. Right pair of wily campaigners. On to prop forward John Furbank. 6 feet now from the Oldham line. Ruane trying to scamper through. Saints tackling holds firm, leading by 12 points to 0 at present. Ford. On to the prop forward there, Clausen. He's trying to wriggle his way over. It's the 6th and final tackle. They'll go for a try, Oldham. A drop goal's no good to him in this position. McAllister flicks it up to Ford. Lofted ball, well, unfortunately Saints knock on, but is it the original knock on he's going to give, and is he going to give the changeover? Well, I think he's given the original knock on, but surely that should be the changeover on the 6th tackle. Yes, he's just realised now, after some of our highly efficient personnel in the crowd have just informed him. Inside ball to Loughlin on the opposite diagonal. Still going for Loughlin. Lovely ball to David Tanner. Comes back in beat. Oh, Tanner beats the defence. Still going. And all that on the first tackle, eh? About 50 yards movement upfield. Takes it well, all on. Beavers took it well. Good job our highly trained crowd here just prompted Mr Whitfield then that it was the changeover on the 6th tackle. Groves and Bailey. And it's on to Roy Haggerty. Watch him go, Haggerty. Inside to Farber. Saints keeping it moving. That's only 3 tackles and we're in there 25. Bailey again, along the line. Tommy Frodsham. Lofted ball, well taken by Tony Kay. Out to David Tanner. He has to come back in field. Chips it through Tanner. Chasing the ball. Brett Clark has it. Tanner completes the tackle. Saints will have to hold them up there in the 25 now. 26 minutes gone. 12 points to 0 the score in Saints' favour. Oldham on the break. Richard Russell, he's a bit of a speed merchant, isn't he? He couldn't get through there though. Oldham chip it through, but Gary Connolly is going to take it with ease. Connolly there strides out centre field, up to the 25. Brought down by Richard Irving, but it's Groves now, gives the dummy, short ball to Bailey, can't take it, McAllister has it, Oldham keep it moving. On to Clausen now, centre field, Groves has him round the legs, and Farber there, in at the tackle. Certainly some good free-flowing rugby. Saints with a 12 points to nil lead, and Cogger trying to duck under the tackle. Alex Murphy there, he's got the radio on, it'll be on the local radio. He must be pleased with the team's performance today. He's down with the bout of flu, and Frankie Barrow's in charge. Saints are 12 points to nil up. The ball with Andy Ruane, crossfield kick for touch. Pine's touch, must have just bounced inches infield. Looked to me as though it'd gone in on the full from over here. But it's a scrum down in the Saints 25. Oldham playing with the aid of a stiff breeze, blowing from the Eddington down to the clubhouse end. Saints will have this breeze in the second half. Oldham are down to 12 men. They're sending off after just a minute and a half play of fullback Duncan Platt. But Saints come up with the ball. They keep it going. Mark Bailey into space. He's a fair bit of pace on him, Bailey, you know, when he gets going. Oldham lying on. Trotcham wants a quick play of the ball. Beavers, Bateman, short ball to Kay, but it's charged down by an Oldham hand. That'll be another 6 tackles. Yes, as he waved him off, well, he's got his hands up in the air, but anything can happen. We don't know whether he's waved him off or whatever, but he definitely touching an Oldham hand there. And Oldham penalised number 12, John Furbank, for interfering at the play of the ball. So Paul Loughlin with the ball in his hands. He's going over to the far side. You see the, well, you can't see the ball, can you? Just bounces on the stand roof. Perhaps just made a yard forward there. He kicked it over to the main stand side. Tony Kane now. Groves plays it onto Tony Kane. He's still going. He's a strong lad. Full-time Saints player now, signed on a 3.5-year contract after being a free agent after a loan period here at Nosey Road from the Barra Club. Andy Bateman still driving forward. Cosgrove. Playing well is Cosgrove, you know. And Saints in the Oldham 25, looking for another score. Beavers, captain. Leading by example, trying to get his team going. Just couldn't release it then. Connolly up in the line. Inside ball to Farber. Still going is Paul Farber. Looking to feed it inside, but forward just slightly impeding Gary Connolly. Connolly now from the acting half-back position. Solid tackle from McAllister. In with the shoulder there. Certainly a bruising tackle. And Oldham come up with the ball. Richard Russell, just as his ankle's taken from him by Roy Haggerty. Good ankle tap there as Russell, he was hurrying over. 10 minutes remaining of the first half. Saints still with a 12 points to nil lead. Mike Ford really holds the ball, then releases it to Brett Clark. He's taken down just outside the 25-yard line. Richard Irving from acting halfback. Speed Merchant trying to scamper through, but Bateman comes up with the ball. Saints on the charge again. Beavers, Farber into space. Saints have an overlap here. Oh, beautiful ball. Superb ball from Farber onto Loughlin. Champagne rugby here at Nosey Road. Superb ball there. It was all came from Andy Bateman in the centre field. Bateman pitched the ball. He spread it over to the left. Farber took the run in. A perfectly timed ball to Paul Loughlin coming through, putting through a great big hole, and Loughlin touchdown just to the left of the sticks. Loughlin's 11th try of the season extends Saints' lead to 16 points to nil, and about time too. We haven't had any scoring for 16 minutes, but Loughlin will have no problem. Bang this one over. 18 points to nil the score will be. There he goes, his third goal of the afternoon, and as I said, that extends the Saints' lead to 18 points to nil. So Saints it back there in good style after quite a barren patch for the last 16 minutes. Paul Ford with a perfectly timed ball to Loughlin, and he just heard over unopposed to touch down just to the left of the sticks. McAllister kicks it off, a rather awkward bouncing ball. Tony Kay gathers it, drives up the right wing, brought down just outside the 25-yard line. David Tanner taking up the acting half-back position. Phil Beavers, he's certainly getting involved this afternoon. Beavers, he's up at the loose forward position with the ban to Shane Cooper. But if everything goes to plan, I think it's New Year's Day now that Cooper will be able to play. That's provided we have the rearranged match against Bradford. Well, that's if we're going to play it. We don't know yet. If we come through this afternoon's match successfully, the first semi-final of the Regal Trophy. Well, superb ball from Haggerty, onto Loughlin, onto Bailey. That's it. Quick play the ball, onto Paul Groves. Flicks it back, but Oldham are going to pick it up. But they lose it again. Saints are going to capitalise on it. Frodsham goes down on it very bravely. But it's David Tanner that comes up with it. And Saints are back in charge. As I say, if Saints come through this successfully, the first semi-final is this Saturday. And we don't know what's going to happen. The Pie Eaters, they've got a replay on Thursday. So that means they're not going to be playing this Saturday, doesn't it? You can bet Maurice Lindsay will sort that out. He won't have his team playing this Thursday, provided they win, that is. They're at home, so there's every chance. But the touch judge on the far side, it comes on. Andy Bateman, the most placid of personnel here at Nosey Road. He just pushes the Oldham counterpart off. Obviously infringement at the tackle. Saints are awarded the penalty. Plenty of wolf whistles as Lockers changes his shorts or readjusts his underwear. But Loughlin finds touch. Oldham make another substitution. Andy Ruane coming off, being replaced by Trevor Croston. I think Lockers is going to have to take the kick for touch again, is he? Yes, there we go. Finds touch in the Oldham 25. Andy Bateman, first receiver from Paul Groves. Saints on the charge again. You can bet the ball's going to come over this way to Saints left wing. Alan Hunt and company. Bailey. Cosgrove straightens it up, drives upfield. About 18 yards short of the Oldham line. It's Saints on the charge now. Bailey again. Farber coming through at pace, but he loses it. Beavers completes the tackle. Cogger coming through. Bang down just outside the 25-yard line. Tommy Frodsham completes a superb tackle. But it's Oldham on the charge. Clausen. He's a big lad, this Clausen, isn't he? Saints penalised for offside on the referee's left. McAllister, is he going to find touch? Yes, a superb long kick from McAllister there. Puts the Saints under pressure. He finds touch midway between the Saints try line and their own 25. Drop forward there, Furbank. Is he going to be held up? Well, Furbank, he does well. Which Saints shouldn't have been in that position. Furbank came through, took it well. From the play the ball after that touch-finding kick. And his strength took him over, and Oldham touchdown for the first score this afternoon. About 15 yards infield from this popular side stand. So Furbank goes over for the try. Saints defence just having a little lapse there. He came through well. He was running hard onto the ball from the play the ball. Charlie McAllister with a good deep touch-finding kick from the restart. The ball was fed inside. Furbank came through and his impetus took him over. McAllister hooks it. So the score after 36 minutes playing this first half remains Saints 18, Oldham 4. So such hard work this afternoon from the Saints team, and then they go and give such an easy try away there. The man should have been well contained. Paul Loughlin, centre field. Only the second time he's kicked off this afternoon. Let's hope we don't kick off anymore. But it's Oldham on the charge on the far side. That scores, give him a little bit of a fillip. But they're going to score again here. Oh, well, what a cock-up. He had a four-man overlap, and now it's Saints on the charge. Connolly, watch him go. Out to his teammate Hunt. What a super tackle there from try-scorer Furbank. Good solid tackle there. Nothing in that at all. But he's taken a knock. Well, it didn't look as though there was anything in it, but I've had it off good authority that Furbank went in with a fist. I'd like to watch it again on the video, but Hunt's up and all right, and Mark Bailey's going up centre field. They should have had a try there, Oldham. They had a four-man overlap on the far side, and Saints nearly capitalised by hitting back. Tony Kay up the wing again. Oh, very unlucky Tony Kay. Just brought down short of the Oldham 25. Saints spreading it along the line. Haggerty, he's straightened up. Oh, tremendous sidestep. Inside ball to Bateman. Baby, yes, out to Mark Bailey. Looking for support. Saints are going to tidy up. They do. Yes, keep it going forward. Lofty ball to Hunt. Obstruction is gave well. You might know, might you? He's trying to keep the score down. Oldham did it earlier on and got away with it. But Saints are penalised this time. Very unlucky there, Farber. He missed out Loughlin. He lofted it to Hunt. Hunt was going to hit it well. He went in, didn't he? But referee Whitfield has penalised the Saints for crossing. So it's Oldham in possession. Cogger attacked in half-back. Just a minute of normal time remaining in this game, and Saints with a commanding 18 points to 4 lead. Well worthy of the lead this afternoon. They put some good rugby together this afternoon. Admitted Oldham are down to 12 men. But it's certainly been a good hard game. Mike Ford, centre field. On the few occasions that Oldham have split the Saints defence open, well, they did on the far side. They should have had a try to contain them for a movement like that, and yet let him in for a soft try here from Furbank. Sixth and final tackle now. Referee Whitfield with his upheld arm. Brett Clark dribbling through. Well played, David Tanner. Takes the ball well. Sidesteps past two Oldham defenders. And Saints on the charge now. Oldham moving up very quickly. There's the half-time hooter. Tremendous first half performance from the Saints. They opened the scoring in the second minute with a Loughlin penalty goal. Then a Tommy Frodsham try. He dribbled through at short range after 10 minutes. Loughlin goal, and Saints are 8 points to 0 up. Then Alan Hunt with a superb interpassing five-man Saints movement. He finished it off, and that was the score at 12 points to 0. No scoring for the next 16 minutes. And then Paul Loughlin went in for a try. He goaled it himself, 18 points to 0. And just 4 minutes before the interval, John Furbank going in for a try in this right-hand corner. This is the old scoreboard corner. After McAllister had found touch with a deep kick, and right from the play of the ball, Furbank coming through. His impetus took him through. So the half-time score here at Nosey Road, 18 points to 4 in the Saints' favour. Back with you now for the second half for this Regal Trophy third round tie. Saints leading at half-time by 18 points to 4, and Oldham have made another substitute at half-time. You've got Keith Atkinson on, replacing Neil Clausen. Saints so far haven't made any substitutions. Oldham to kick off, and it's Saints going to be playing with the aid of this stiff breeze this afternoon. Oldham had the breeze for the first half, not done much with it. Just got to try 4 minutes before half-time through Furbank. So it's Saints in command. Bateman now, just before we get a bit of action, hopefully. Don't forget, it's the last game. Well, we don't know what's going to happen yet, do we? With this tie, whether we're going to get the first semi-final, provided we come through all right or anything, because we've got a midweek match against Bradford if we don't get drawn in the first semi-final. So don't forget, get your orders in for your 1988-89 tri-tape, and also your New Zealand one. It's the last chance for production before Christmas. But Loughlin kicks downfield. Oldham come up with possession, and Tony Kay moves in very quickly. Brett Clark feeds it inside, second row, Trevor Croston. But Groves quickly in with David Cosgrove. Cogger now, spreading it over to the right. Furbank, the centre field, brought down by Haggerty and Beavers, but it's Cogger. But Saints penalised over on the far side. Well, it must be annoying to Oldham. I mean, it's annoying to us with Saints being penalised, but especially to Oldham. They're bringing the ball to the left. Referee penalises the opposition to his left, like to their right, to Oldham's right, when they could have been underway. But anyway, Oldham, the first penalty award of the second half. Fine touch just inside the Saints half. Oldham spilled the ball. The original knock-on going to be ruled. Saints just couldn't pick the ball up. I think it was Paul Farber. It just hit his legs and bounced forward. No way he could get that ball after Oldham coming through and knocking on. So first scrum midway between the halfway and the Saints 25. Mark Bailey to feed. Oldham down to 12 men. Gary Conley coming up centre field. Keith Atkinson quickly in there, crunches him to the ground, fresh man. But Bateman now straightens up. Paul Farber at a fair pace, inside ball to Beavers. Turned round in the tattle, but Atkinson in again. Groves onto Bailey, cross to Frodsham, onto Haggerty. Flicks it out to Loughlin, out to Alan Hunt. He has to straighten up, he's coming crossfield, is Alan Hunt. Still pushing the defenders off. He was looking to unload them, but Brett Clark came in and clamped him. Tony Kay from acting halfback. Does well Kay on the diagonal. The ball's released. Oldham are going to come up with it. Mike Ford. Mark Bailey tackles him. A superb tackle right round Ford's legs from Bailey. Kevin Meadows, rare touch of the ball this afternoon. He came on as a substitution for Trevor Croston in the 7th minute, but he's not been in on much of the action. Cogger on to Croston. Cogger again. McAllister coming through on the diagonal. He's a big lad, this New Zealander. Takes some tugging down. Last time Oldham came here in that Lancashire Cup second round, where Oldham beat Saints 36-6. McAllister couldn't get his place, but it's Oldham on the charge again. Irving is brought down short. 6th and final tattle for Oldham, and he was nearly through. Saints defence will have to hold firm. That's going to be the changeover. Rather lofty ball, it could have worked for Saints there. Loughlin coming through, but the Oldham man managed to get it, and it certainly looked as though Richard Irving was going to scamper in for a try here. Haggerty bursting through. Looking to release Haggerty, tremendous forward. Takes 3 Oldham men, and they wrenched the ball out of his hands after the referee had shouted held, I think. Well, obviously not. He's ruled a knock-on, but a 3-man tackle, and it took him long enough at stop proceedings there. Well, somebody said something. Saints have been penalised, and Oldham on the charge. Keith Atkinson, Beavers and Connolly there, bring him to a halt. It's Oldham on the charge. Trevor Croston looking hungry for work. They're down to 12 men. Connolly comes up with the ball. Does well, Gary Connolly. He's off on a run now. Paul Farber looking for support. He gets it. The ball's released. Saints still on the charge. Paul Loughlin. Inside ball. Tommy Frodsham. Can he make it, Frodsham? Well, the ball's charged out, it's all on, it's going to be a try. Yes! Mark Bailey touches down. Tommy Tommy Frodsham, he lofted it out. It's for Alan Hunt. It touched an Oldham player. The ball was knocked back. Referee Whitfield put his hands in the air. That's the all-on signal. And the Oldham players were back in number. Mark Bailey was though. He was following it up, and all he had to do was fall on it, which he did. 15 yards to the left of the sticks, and Saints put another 4 points in the Oldham coffin. Mark Bailey, 6th try of the season, extends the Saints lead to 22 points to 4. Paul Loughlin, it's on the correct side for him, right-footed kicker. John Harrison just been on as the Sandman. Loughlin there just positioning himself, composing himself. 88 goals so far this season. Needs somebody to hold the ball. Alan Hunt coming up. Awkward breeze, well, very strong blustery wind blowing down from the Eddington down to the clubhouse. Saints with the advantage of it this afternoon. And a try there from Mark Bailey. Saints were in possession. Frodsham with a leg strain. He tried to loft it out to Hunt. It was knocked down and Bailey followed it up. Loughlin now. Well, he goes across the face of the posts. More awkward, I suppose, when somebody is having to hold the ball through the weather conditions. But the score after 6 minutes in the second half is 22 points to the Saints and 4 to Oldham. And in the second half, Oldham started off like house on fire, put a tremendous amount of pressure on the Saints. Could have easily scored on a couple of occasions, but some good solid defence from the Saints. They've held Oldham out, and then they hit back in good style and go down at the other end and put points on the board. Farber underneath it, takes it well. Plays hard, Paul Farber. As I said, been trouble with a niggly injury, a trapped nerve around the neck and shoulder area. But he thrives on this rugby, does Farber. Mark Bailey coming back inside. Beats the first line of Oldham defence. But it's Saints on the charge now. Wants a quick play of the ball. All offside to the referee's left at Oldham. But he doesn't manage to see it this time. Beavers, lovely short ball. Tommy Frodsham, I think it is. Beavers at dummy half. Brings it away and then kicks it diagonally. Yes, super kick from Beavers with the aid of the wind, and that's it. You've got to peg the opposition back, keep them in their own 25. It's Richard Russell that's back at the full-back position since Duncan Platt was sent off in the after just a minute and a half of the first half. But it's Beavers there. He just turned round, saw the gap on the left and diagonally kicked it into touch. Scrum down, Oldham come up with the ball. Charlie McAllister coming cross field. On the charge now, Richard Irvine. Speedy lad, this is only a little lad, but a very speedy and out-and-out winger. As I said, our Oldham counterparts here, they were surprised that they put him in the centre. But I suppose if he's playing well in the centre and McAllister's playing well there and they've put him on the wing, probably because of his bulk. Cogger from acting half-back. On the charge there, Connolly, only Connolly to beat. But Connolly has him, super tackle. In like an exocet is Connolly, no problem. Followed his man, honed in on him and bounced him to the ground. Ford chipping through, Tanner takes it easily. Quite sharp and one of the rare attacks by Cogger. He's a good player. He's certainly the linchpin in this Oldham side, but he's not been doing much this afternoon. Well, a bit of a mix-up there. Was the man offside, the Oldham man, but they come up with possession. Solid Saints tackling there. I think it's Furbank. Croston at dummy half. He's taking the dummy half position with Ruane going off. Well, inside ball to Russell, certainly looked forward, that did. Even on this angle from where we're positioned. Cogger now, trying to scamper through. No, he's not in there, he's short. Well, referees give it. I thought Farber had him. But Cogger there from acting half-back again. They should have learned from the previous exploit. He just made about 25-30 yards upfield. But Cogger from acting half-back, he goes in and reduces the Saints' lead. So after 10 minutes of the second half, Cogger reduces the Saints' lead. It's now 22 points to 8. And Charlie McAllister there to hopefully tag on the points as far as Oldham are concerned, which he does so. Cogger in again there. Sorry about that, just had a little problem, a slight technical itch. But Oldham quickly breaking up and Cogger it's back. Second try in 2 minutes. Puts Oldham back in the hunt at 22 points to 14. What a transformation from this Oldham side in the last 2 or 3 minutes. And I said they've certainly hit Saints in the first 5 or 6 minutes. But Saints withstood the pressure and even scored a try at the opposite end. But there, Cogger, twice in quick succession from the acting half-back, he scampered through and was forced down by Conley. Then shortly after, from half-back again, he touched down just to the left of the sticks. That was converted by McAllister. And just from deep in their own half, they broke through, and Cogger again, he finished off 22 points to 14. And McAllister now, can he extend? Oh, unlucky. Hits the post and bounces out. So 22 points to 14 is the score with just 13 minutes of the second half gone. Oldham hitting back there with 10 points in just 2 minutes. Saints faithful get behind them here. Try and lift them. Oldham, they're depleted. They're down to 12 men. But they've got the bit between the teeth now, and the Saints will have to withstand this storm. They'll have to make sure that Oldham get no further points on the board. Just 8 points separating the teams. Oldham have still got to score twice, but they're playing well. They're just putting it together. Atkinson. I do believe this lad's been out quite a while. He had a broken back. So full marks for him and to coming back and playing. Brett Clark, short ball there. Saints come up with the ball. Beavers spread it to the left. Paul Loughlin. Looks as though he's going to pass it inside, but Mike Ford was there, hovering. Beavers again gives a dummy. Straightens up, drives towards the Oldham line. Just over 10 yards. And a penalty to Saints. Well, the Oldham man is there chirping at referee Whitfield, but he's not been penalised, not been taken a further 10 yards back, has he? Or warned or whatever. But Beavers, he's a captain, he was in there, and referee Whitfield must have shouted held. Beavers telling Paul Loughlin to go for goal to extend the Saints lead to 10 points, hopefully. Less work going on as Sandman, but it certainly stemmed the tide from Oldham. They certainly hit back in good style. There's 10 points in just 2 minutes, but they've certainly looked good value for the money after coming out after the half-time interval. It's Paul Loughlin now. So Crodsham was holding the ball, but it's okay now. Loughlin strikes it well, right between the uprights, gives Saints a 10-point cushion, 24 points to 14 to score now. And just 16 minutes of play gone in this second half. McAllister, centre field, to kick off. Lofted ball. Farber takes it well. Beats the first line of defence. Still going is Paul Farber. Obviously planned tactics from McAllister. Lofted ball in the breeze. Oldham moving up very quickly in the ball now with Andy Bateman. Three-man tattle brings him to a halt. Furbank holding on to him. But it's Saints now. Tommy Frodsham looking for the gap. Roy Haggerty, he'll take him on, won't he? Still driving forward, just brought down short of the halfway line. 24-14 the score in the Saints' favour, and it's Cosgrove. Right down in front of our commentary position here. David Tanner at dummy half, back to Haggerty. Grubbers for touch. Scrum down just inside the Oldham half. Oldham feed, Mike Ford with the ball in his hands there, ready to feed. One clean, well, I think it's one clean scrum each this second half. But Oldham come up, Groves comes round, on to Brett Clark it goes now. Inside ball, McAllister, but he's lost it. Connolly comes up with it. Saints on the charge. Frodsham, lofted ball to Hunt. Unfortunately couldn't take it. Missed Paul Loughlin out and it went to Alan Hunt. He couldn't take it cleanly. He knocks it on. It's a scrum to be formed on the far side this time. Well, this is the third second division opponents that Saints have had. They've had all home ties. That's Hull KR at home, Dewsbury at home, even though we had a replay. And now Oldham at home. The semi-finals, one this Saturday and one the Saturday after, played on neutral grounds. Kevin Meadows, centre field. Mark Bailey, Paul Farber, bring him to a halt. Cogger there. On to Brett Clark. Trevor Croston bursting through, but it's Cogger from acting half-back. They're going to have to watch this fella. He's the key man, he's the ball player. Well, sharp ball there from Ford. It certainly looked forward, but it's on to Brett Clark. Finally brought down by Mark Bailey. Phil Weaver just lending an extra pound, but it's Oldham, they're making ground. Ford. On to Atkinson. Sixth and final tattle signified by referee Whitfield's upstretched hand. Well, Saints have the ball. On the far side is Paul Loughlin. Went down very well on that ball. Alan Hunt from acting half-back. But Oldham come up with possession. We shouldn't be having backs taking the ball, should we, from the acting half-back position. To get these big forwards taking it, but we've lost possession again. And Oldham spreading it to the left. Well, it's bursting through his Furbank. The ball's loose. Knock on being ruled. It's going to be a Saints feed. Well, the ball looks as though it had come back. Came back off Furbank. He shouldn't have been allowed to go there. Went about 10, 15, 20 yards. Shrugging the tattlers off. But Saints feed, Bailey comes up with it. I don't know where the knock-on was there, but Saints come up with the ball. It's Farber. Just outside the Saints 25. Over to Loughlin now. Offside on the referee's right. And rather sarcastic jeers and cheers. Because we've been telling him for the past 10-15 minutes that they've been lying offside. David Cosgrove. Oh, striking through. Oh, it's Phil Beavers, I should say. Thought it was David Cosgrove. It's Phil Beavers there bursting through. Groves at dummy half, on to Farber. Beats one tackle, still going forward. The ball tidied up by Alan Hunt. He's still stood in the tackle. But it's Saints on the charge. You've got to get points on the board now. Groves. Bailey along the line. Frodsham, well taken by Haggerty. Pushes one off. Turns in the tackle. Looking to release. Oh, held it up beautifully to Bailey there. Frodsham coming through, but he couldn't take it. Saints on the charge, midfield. Groves takes it left. Beavers, quick hands to Frodsham on the far side to Hunt. But a solid tackle, super tackle from Oldham on the far side. Sixth and final tackle now in this sequence. Mark Bailey, Haggerty goes for the drop goal. Sends it to the right. It was on the sixth tackle, so it's well worth a go. Right in front of the sticks, but it went to the right. And Oldham are going to restart with a 25-yard tap. David Cosgrove coming off, being replaced by Big John Harrison. He's had a solid game as Cosgrove, but he's been replaced. 22 minutes in the second half, and Big John Harrison, fresh man on. Mike Ford. Oldham in possession. Cogger acting half-back. Well, he didn't actually take it. The ball was either kicked back or pushed right far back by the Oldham man, but it's Cogger now. That's acting half-back. Oldham threading it quickly. Clark, inside ball. On to Ford now. Overlap for Oldham. Well, would have been a forward pass anyway. It was Paul Lord that came up with it, but it would have been a forward pass. Whether the referee would have given it or not, I don't know. But Oldham, they did well. They split the Saints open again. John Harrison from acting half-back. Only makes a couple of yards. Saints just in the lead by 24 points to 14. Andy Bateman on the run. Frodsham coming through. Bateman couldn't release. Groves at dummy half. Back now to Bailey. Feeds it inside to Haggerty. Threading his way through up to the halfway line is Roy Haggerty. Certainly a good pulsating second half so far. Groves with a little chip through. Taken by Bailey. All's okay, but it's the sixth and final tackle. Well, Beavers along the line now. Frodsham kicks it through. Comes Tommy Frodsham outpace the defence. He kicks it for the line. Oldham are in possession. Just manages to drop on the ball just before he's bundled into touch, but Frodsham, he just couldn't get it. McAllister, well, is he held behind his own line? Yes. Referee Whitfield on the job, and full marks to the Saints there. Oldham spread it quickly to their left. McAllister in possession, I think it was, but he was pushed back over his own try line. So Oldham are forced to drop out from between their own posts. Just about 15 minutes of the game remaining. Saints with a 10-point cushion, leading by 24 points to 14. But it's holding up in the breeze. Well, all on. Clark comes away with it. Saints should have accounted for that, held up in the breeze, whereas Saints should have been in possession. It's now Oldham that are back in charge of the football. Clark's took a knock, Cogger at dummy half. Oldham moving it quickly onto this Furbank. He certainly takes some pulling down, doesn't he? Takes 4 Saints to bring him down. And number 11 there, Keith Newton, taking exception. Cogger from acting half-back. Well, Saints penalised for moving up too quickly. Cogger plays it quickly, tries to catch Saints on the hop. But it's Oldham with fresh life in them. Croston, just short of the Saints 25. Certainly looked a different side this second half of Oldham, considering they're down to 12 men. On to Keith Newton, ex-Widnes forward. Richard Irving. Attacked in half-back, the ball fed inside to forward. Oldham still moving forward. About 18 yards from the Saints try line now, and Oldham putting it together. They've moved a full 50-odd, 60 yards upfield. Well, another try there. A well-worked move by Oldham. And it's this flyer, Paul Lord, coming through from a chip kick through. And he touches down 10 yards in from the popular side. Good try from Oldham, well-worked move, and they've certainly played well this second half, haven't they? Well, 24 points to 18, and a McAllister conversion attempt to come. Still be a 6 points gap if he manages to convert it. McAllister there, is it coming? Oh, is it coming to just to the right of the sticks? Very unlucky there, McAllister. But it's against the breeze. But it's 24 points to 18 to score. Still a 6 point gap. And Neil Clausen has to come back on to replace the injured Brett Clark. Minutes of play remaining, 6 points separating the teams. It's been all Oldham this second half. Saints just with that Mark Bailey try, and then Oldham with 2 Cogger tries, and a Paul Lord try just a minute or so ago. Saints have to kick off. Clausen back in the action. Cogger from action half-back. Saints looking to go into the third semi-final on the trot. Oldham there after the second semi-final in 3 years. 6 points separating the teams, and Oldham certainly in form at present. This man is wreaking havoc in the Saints defence. This John Furbank takes a lot to pull him down, but Oldham quickly on the charge forward. Sixth and final tackle now. Oldham running it. Tony Kay has his man, he feeds his inside to Irving. Well, he just releases it. It's going to be the changeover because he just threw it away. Obviously, he knew it was the sixth tackle. But Saints will have to get their act together. John Harrison now have to stick hold of this ball. Solid tackling from Oldham. They're going to be in at the tackling and looking to rake this ball from the Saints' hands. Haggerty now, centre field. Bundle down. Finally got to ground, 10 yards short of the halfway line. Andy Bateman breaks through, looking for support, he just lobs it in field, but Oldham have it. Whether somebody shouted for it or not, I don't know, but it's unlike Bateman. The ball was released and Oldham come up with it. Tackling's going to be of the essence now. Saints have got to stick to the guns. Certainly a hard match, and Oldham down to 12 men, and they certainly look good value, as I said. Just give them that little bit of extra movement, a bit more scope, and the Saints haven't capitalised on the extra man that they have. Clausen. Cogger attacked in half-back. McAllister chips through. Connolly takes it well. Yes, dummies past McAllister, and still going Gary Connolly. 10 yards outside the 25, Saints in possession. Not had a lot of possession in this second half. This John Harrison striding through, looking for support. Unfortunately, Tommy Frodsham would overrun him. Well, Cogger struck for the ball. It's another 6 tackles, that, surely. Groves, still going Groves. Released it to Haggerty, onto Tony Kay. Good tackle there by Paul Lord, but it's Tanner at dummy half. Feeds it inside to Roy Haggerty. Charging up to the 25. Beavers. Bailey. On to Frodsham. Loughlin coming through at pace. Yes. Out to Hunt. Can he make it? Yes. Alan Hunt pulls it out of the bag. Saints going for a try, much to the delight of not only myself but the Saints faithful here. Quite a decent crowd assembled, and Saints extend the lead. Alan Hunt's second try of the afternoon. It's 15th of the season there, but good play from the Saints. They spread it over here. Tony Cave tackled just short of the 25. It went to Roy Haggerty, then it was spread along the line. Superb ball to Loughlin, and then an equally good ball from Loughlin to Alan Hunt. He just outpaced his opposite wingman and came inside and touched down about 20 yards to the left of the posts. $28 points to 18, and this Paul Loughlin conversion attempt to come. There's Loughlin, strikes it well, but it goes away from the posts. So 28 points to 18, and Saints back with a 10-point cushion. Oldham to kick off, and let's hope Saints can keep possession and nip back straight away. 8 minutes of normal time remaining. Saints with a 10-point cushion, 28 points to 18. And looking good now for going in to the bag for tomorrow's semi-final draw. Beavers takes it well. Brought down on the 25. Tommy Frodsham chips it through. Well, the ball, knock on. Yes, a knock on there. Richard Russell, he couldn't take it cleanly. Puts pressure back on Oldham. Paul Loughlin just been named as the Regal Trophy Man of the Match. Bailey to feed. He goes round the back of the scrum. He can't come up with possession. The scrum to be reformed. Just 5 men in the Oldham pack. Bailey to feed. Saints come up with it this time. Bailey from the base of the scrum, still going. Beavers inside to Roy Haggerty. Let's have a Haggerty special, eh? He bursted through well there. Frodsham on his left. He couldn't release it. Solid Oldham tackling. Groves at dummy half. Takes it to the left now. John Harrison. Still striding forward. 6'7" of him. 20 yards from the Oldham line now. Saints with another 4 tackles to make it count. Bailey inside to Farber. Takes it back. Farber plays it to himself. Charges up to the line. He's about 5 yards short now is Paul Farber. Is that the 6th and final tackle? And the ball back. Yes, is he over? Yes, the try's there. Paul Groves, I think it is. Yes, Paul Groves. Paul Groves gets the rebound, he comes back, and it was on the 6th tackle. Saints tried to grubber it through. It hit the Oldham player, it came back, and Paul Groves following up, got the loose ball and touchdown. Well, that's going to be the end of Oldham now, there's no danger about that. Just 5 minutes of normal time remaining, and Saints there extended the lead to 32 points to 18 now. Paul Groves, 7th try of the season. Certainly come up at the right time. He's always there and about his Groves. Badgering about, and that's going to be certain. Saints are going to be in the act for the the semi-final draw tomorrow morning. Loughlin now. Well, he just can't get it right at that end. Obviously, an awkward, blustery wind. But it's still 32 points to the Saints, 18 points to Oldham. Just 5 minutes of play remaining. And Les Quirk is getting stripped off there in the dugout. He's going to be coming on for a run out for the last 5 minutes. He's going to replace Tony Kay, his ex-Barrow teammate. Yes, Tony Kay coming off, being replaced by Les Quirk. Plenty of applause for Tony Kay. Played well. The ball now with Gary Connolly. Threading his way up to the 25. Well, a spirited performance from Oldham in the second half, and they certainly they give us a few worries. There's no danger with 2 quick tries from Cogger and then 1 from Lord, bringing the scores to 24 points to 18 is the closest that Oldham have been. And what it could have been if perhaps Charlie McAllister had banged that over, 24 points to 20. But Saints hit back there in good style with 2 quick tries from Hunt in the 31st minute and Groves in the 35th minute. Saints are in possession. Big John Harrison. Groves attacked in half-back. The ball with Frodsham, tries to chip through again, but it's right into the hands of an Oldham player. Bit of a shuffle round in the Saints ranks now with Les Quirk going on the opposite wing on the main stand side there. Alan Hunt coming over here onto the right wing. There's Les Quirk on the left. David Tanner in the centre to Alan Hunt now. Knock on just inside the Saints 25. Mark Bailey to feed. Saints come up with the ball. Tommy Frodsham. Lofted ball to David Tanner. Still going Tanner. Oh, it's just taken down. Alan Hunt couldn't take it there. Knock on. Scrum down to be formed midway between the Saints 25 and the halfway line. But time running out for Oldham now. No way they can hit back now. 14 points in arrears. And just 2 minutes of play remaining. Hunt now gets it from the base of the scrum, diagonally across the field. Lofted ball there to Tanner, on to Loughlin, out to Les Quirk, first touch. Coming back in field is Quirk. Saints leading try scorer last season, but unfortunately injured at Sheffield, at Hillsborough in the first match of the season. Saints still keep it going. Frodsham, delayed ball to Mark Bailey. But in the Oldham 25 now, 20 yards from the Oldham line. Can we finish off with a flourish? Haggerty, he'll take him on. Flicks it up to Groves. Outrageous dummy and brought down just about 2 or 3 yards short. Beavers at dummy half. Groves can't play the ball. Farber coming through on the charge. Looking for support. Releases it to Beavers. Back inside to Haggerty, but he snatches at it. But it doesn't make any difference. We're down at the Oldham end. There's only a minute or so remaining. Haggerty puts it to ground. Scrum to be formed. Oldham feed. Cogger to feed. Comes up Oldham side. Good 25-yard burst from their own line. Just about 20 seconds before the hooter, I make it. But Oldham lose possession. Farber comes up with it and Saints spread it quickly. Tanner doing well, losing his footing, but releases it to Haggerty. On to Beavers. Taken down, centre field. John Harrison attacked in half-back. From acting half-back he goes, releases to Frodsham. Inside to Connolly. Lofted ball. Right into the hands of an Oldham man. Was meant for Les Quirk, but the Oldham man took it well. Forced back over his own in-goal, into his in-goal area. So Oldham to drop out from between the sticks. Just a formality now, just waiting for the full-time hooter to sound. Saints coming through with a 32 points to 18 win. Not as convincing in the second half as they was in the first half. Well, a voluntary tackle there. Speed man Paul Lord couldn't take gather his feet. Goes inside to Richard Irving, but Alan Hunt brings him down, and it's now Furbank on the charge. He takes some pulling down, but Hunt and Farber have him. Cogger attacked in half-back. There is Oldham centre field, 10 yards outside their own 25. Cogger again, chipping through, gathers it safely, but a super tackle there. Well, a minute and a half of stoppage time already been played. It's Oldham still in possession. The ball coming back off a Saints player, signified by referee Whitfield. Inside ball, and Oldham. Are Oldham going to finish with a flourish? Let's throw it inside. There's the final hooter as Paul Farber picks the ball up. So Saints go marching on through to a semi-final draw. They're going to be in the bag for tomorrow morning's semi-final draw. Coming through by 32 points to 18. He's leading 18 points to 4 at half-time. And then Oldham, they look quite sharp in the first 5 minutes. And then I would possibly say Saints hitting back with out of the Bailey try, and then it was all Oldham. 2 tries from Cogger, 1 from Lord, but Saints finishing off in the last 5 minutes with tries from Hunt and Groves, both going unconverted. So the final score, 32 points to 18.